English Grammar, Lesson 28. Topic: Embedded Questions. Part 1. This is a lesson in 2 parts.
Do you like getting packages in the mail? I love it. How big or how small a package is doesn't matter. What I like is the surprise. I want to know right away what's inside. Of course, sometimes I do know what's inside because I'm the one who ordered it. I bought something online. But even then, it's exciting, it's fun, because I want to know if the product is any good. I want to find out if it's exactly what I thought it would be. Now, whether you know it or not, you've just heard several examples of embedded questions. Do you know what an embedded question is? Embedded means placed inside. An embedded question is a question placed inside another question, or a question placed inside a larger sentence. If you're ready, let's get started with our lesson on embedded questions.
Here are 3 examples of embedded questions which I said at the beginning of my talk. What I like is the surprise. I want to know what's inside. I want to know if the product is any good. You see the embedded questions placed inside sentences, larger statements. And you'll probably also notice that the embedded question can have different positions within a sentence. Why is that? Well, we need to talk about the uses of embedded questions, the functions. An embedded question is a type of noun clause, so it can have the same function as a single word noun. Very often, an embedded question functions as the direct object, the object of a verb. For example, I want to know what's inside. I want to know if the product is any good. These 2 embedded questions are direct objects. They're the objects of the verb know. We can also use an embedded question as the subject of our sentence. For example, what I like is the surprise. And note it takes a singular verb. Let me test your understanding so far. Here you see an embedded question as part of a larger question. Do you want to find out what's inside? Which of these 3 answers is simply not possible? It's this last one. Remember, an embedded question does not ask a real question. It's based on a real question, but the actual question here is, do you want to find out or not?
The important thing to remember about embedded questions is that they are not real questions. That means they do not use question word order. Remember, there is a difference between question word order and statement word order. When we say a simple sentence, we have a subject and a verb. When we ask questions, we invert the subject and verb. We switch places. A verb comes first, and then there's a subject. For example, you ask, Jennifer, where is the package? Here it is. You asked a real question. Where is the package? Is, verb, the package, subject. Verb, subject. That's question word order. You wanted to know where the package was. The package, subject, was, verb. You wanted to know where the package was. Where the package was is an embedded question, a question inside a larger sentence. Because it's not a real question, I went back to sentence word order, statement word order, in which we have the subject come first and a verb come second.
Let's practice forming embedded questions together. Here's a real question. What do I like? To form the embedded question, we'll first place the question word, what, then our subject, I, and our verb, like. This is not a real question, so we no longer need the helping verb do. What I like is the surprise. It's the subject now of our sentence. Look at the second real question. How much did someone spend? First, we place our question word, how much, our subject, someone, and our verb. Now look, this verb is in the past tense. We no longer need a helping verb, but we still need to show that this is a past tense verb. We use spent. I don't need to know how much someone spent. Now you know how to form an embedded question, but be especially careful in 3 situations. First, when the embedded question is based on a yes-no question, as in, can we open it now? You don't see a question word, do you? But we can form an embedded question with the help of if. Let's ask if we can open it now. It's also possible to use whether or not. Let's ask whether we can open it now. But if is the more common choice, especially in everyday English. We prefer whether or not when there are actually 2 or more choices stated. For example, let's ask whether we're going to open it now or later. Also, be careful when you form an embedded question based on a question about the subject. What is inside? Do you see in this real question, the question word what is asking about the subject? We already have subject, verb, statement word order, so no changes need to be made. I wonder what is inside. Also, be careful when you have a question word, a form of be, and a noun or noun phrase. For example, what is that thing? That thing is our subject, so we're going to place that before our form of be. What that thing is. That's the order we need. So our complete statement now is, I can't understand what that thing is. The noun phrase comes before is.
Are you ready for an exercise?
Exercise 1. Read the real question. Then complete the new statement with an embedded question. Let me help you with number 1. The real question is, what did Jennifer order? So to form the embedded question, identify your question word, your subject, and the verb. Make sure it's in the same verb tense. Our new statement, let's find out what Jennifer ordered. Number 2. Our new statement is, do you know who the package is for? 3. Our new statement, I can't imagine what she bought for her kids. 4. Our new statement, I wonder if she can put it together by herself. You could also use whether, but the choice of if is more common. 5. Our new question: can you guess what she is building? 6. The new statement is, can you tell me what that is called in English? Do you know the answer? This is called a seesaw. In exercise 1, all of our embedded questions functioned as objects of verbs. It's probably most common to use embedded questions as direct objects. Look at this list of common verbs followed by embedded questions. We have ask, find out, guess, know, remember, say, see, and wonder. It's very common to use embedded questions after a verb to sound more polite. We request information with verbs like know, tell, and explain. And by following these verbs with an embedded question, our requests for information sound more polite, less demanding, softer. Compare, for example, the direct question, "Where's the bank?" with this less direct one, "Can you help me, please? I'd like to know where the bank is." Compare this direct question, "What time is it?" with this indirect question, "Sir, could you please tell me what time it is?" And compare this direct question, "How do students register?" with this more indirect one, "Excuse me, ma'am, could you please explain how students register?" This is the end of Part 1. Before you go on to Part 2, please know that additional practice is available at EnglishCafe.com. Follow the direct link listed in the video description, and then I'll see you back here for Part 2.